When I started my business, I thought that there would be a time when I would get to the point where everything was certain, planned out, clear, and stable. And being in business for a couple of years, I started to get discouraged, really discouraged, because I was not getting to that stable, never have to worry scenario that I thought I was going to be able to get to early on in business. And this video is for somebody out there, maybe who you're starting a business, or you've been in business for 5 or 6, 7 years, and you just haven't gotten to that place of complete peace and complete stability in all sections of your company. And what I want to share with you is that there will always be instability. And if you're not okay with that, or you can't get to a point in your life psychologically and personally where you can become okay with that, then you're probably not cut out to be a business owner. Because throughout your journey, you're either preparing for the next negative event in some way, shape, or form, undergirding your operations, enhancing your financial pillow, in maybe streamlining workflows because they're a little shaky, or bolstering your marketing efforts, because the future is always uncertain, and there are always destabilizing factors ahead of us. And so as business owners, we've got to come to terms with that. We've got to be okay with that. It's a reality that we have to accept. If you look back over the past 50 years and some of the best companies in the market, every single one has endured storms. Some of them very severe, business life-threatening storms. And that never changes. So some of us actually, we want to become our own boss to create stability and to create all of these kind of control factors. But if you're a control freak, I don't recommend you going to business at all, because there are going to be so many elements that you cannot fully control, especially when you start bringing on team members. Elements that happened in your team members' lives, previous decisions that they've made in their personal lives that have an impact on your business because it impacts their work and their ability to perform. Market conditions. COVID-19 was a perfect example of this. Everything crashed. There was a 3-month period during COVID-19 where not a single one of my clients paid. So how do you prepare for something like that? If you've been in business for any period of time, how do you make sure that you're going to be able to weather that storm or mitigate those uncertainties? And the fact is, you cannot mitigate every uncertainty, but you can reduce the amount of impact that such big uncertainties have on you and on your organization. One, and I'd say the number one thing that you can do to make the uncertain and disrupting factors in the marketplace have less impact on you and on your business is this. The number one, and I know there's going to be people out there that disagree with this, and honestly, I've argued this point with so many new business students and people who've gone through extensive training in business, and the number one I would say is this: don't take loans, don't take debt, don't take loans, and have a big pile of money in the bank. And that's an argumentative point, because in the universities, it's so comical to me. And the teachers, they sit in front of the unit in the classroom and say, okay, so you have an idea, you get a bunch of investors, they invest in this idea, and how are you going to make this business become a reality? And so you have $1 million to invest in this business and start it off. I'm like, where the heck does this guy get $1 million from? And do you not realize that this $1 million must be paid back? And what are the interest rates that these are being paid back? And by the way, they have to be paid back in good times and in bad times. And guess what? In the first 5 years of business, 95% of businesses fail. So how are you going to weather that? How are you going to weather that with this big debt load? And there's a very big disconnect to what actual business operation, profitable business operation means. And the philosophy, or I think it's a philosophy. I would label even philosophy, not even theory, in the educational front, because in a large part you have to believe that philosophy is going to work in order to be able to launch into the business world. And if you believe, and so, people argue the debt ideology as if it's like a philosophy to them. And so I say, don't get into debt. Don't get into debt. It will exponentially increase your chances of failure. That's the first one. The second one is accept the fact that uncertainty will always be a reality and come to terms with it. And that's more of an interpersonal searching of the soul, to where you can be at peace with the instability in the marketplace. You've got to accept that if you're going to be able to win and succeed. Because if you're constantly in turmoil internally, that the market is changing, that this team member is acting this way because of these factors in their life, that they made bad decisions previously, and now they're making good decisions, but those still are impacting them, or our production is not functioning the way it should be. I've made all these great programs, but nobody's following all the programs. How can like all these little nuanced things, instabilities all over the place, and then COVID-19 comes, something like that. You have to come to terms with that. Otherwise, you're going to be crushed internally. And if your soul dies inside, how are you going to have a vision for the future? How are you, with a crushed soul, going to be able to cast vision for your team and lead them forwards, lead the charge like a general in front of his or her command, leading forwards? You can't do it. You can't do that if you're broken inside and if you're at turmoil inside. And so what I would like to encourage you is that the first one is financial security, which is no debt of any kind anywhere. And the second is come to terms with uncertainty being a constant reality and be okay with that. And because ultimately stability is a myth. I want to be completely financially stable. I want to be completely stable in all. You can't be financially stable and secure in every area, in all areas of your business. I'm sorry, I said financially stable. I just meant you can't be stable and secure in every area of your business all the time. It's not even possible. That's a farce that people are trying to, that people want to get to, but it's not a reality. And if you don't understand that, and if you don't accept that reality, you're going to live in turmoil and tension and pain. And if you're like that, you're not going to be a good leader. Guess what happens when you come to your meetings? You're going to be kind of crappy to be around. You're going to be hard to deal with as a team leader, and nobody will want to come on to work with you. So, starting new business owners and business people who've been in the business world for a while, these are a couple tips that I just want to hand off to you, because once I accepted these two realities as principled business operating functions, then life got a lot easier for me personally. I was able to overcome fear a lot easier. I was able to overcome the fear that something would come and just wipe us out as a business a lot more consistently, because of the instability in the marketplace and the lack of security that is just a myth. That I was able to get to the point where I was at peace inside, or I am at peace inside more often, so that I could be a better leader, so that I could be a more calm, collected leader, and so that I could look forward into the marketplace and say, even though the horizon looks a little bit unstable, there are vast and amazing opportunities out there that we can capitalize on. And if our company's healthy internally, if I'm healthy internally, and I'm not constantly in stress and anxiety ridden, then I have the clarity of mind to be able to assess what's on the horizon and take advantage of those opportunities that are ahead of us and find those revenue streams that we can latch onto and that we can start to build into our company over time. Even maybe some current revenue stream is going to be phasing out and you're going to have to find a new one. Well, if you're at peace inside and you realize that instability is a common theme throughout all of life, you're going to be able to step forward into that horizon and say, okay, well, there's an opportunity for us, and there's an opportunity for us, and you're going to be able to start to find niches in the marketplace that you can latch onto and say, okay, we can create a revenue stream there, I think. Or we can at least try, and if we fail, we'll know it doesn't work. And then we can go there and try to create one there. And eventually you'll find one, because you're a business person and you're unstoppable and you keep going and you never give up and you keep after it. But you can't do that if you're constantly afraid. So be aware of the instability factors. I'm not saying completely be oblivious to them, but accept them as reality, and then go forward just knowing that it's going to always be a part of your business life. And that way you will be able to have a calm approach and capitalize on all the opportunities ahead of you. So I hope this helps somebody out there. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to be talking about more things about this in business. I've been in the business sphere for the past 15 years, and my business is now a multi-million-dollar translation, interpretation, and digital services company. And I want to just be a help to businesses just like you out in the marketplace, people just like you out in the marketplace who maybe want to start a business or have started a business, and maybe you're struggling and you just need to overcome some of these barriers. So hopefully this helps somebody out there, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.